Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Brother, you are way more capable than you think, than you may be giving yourself credit for right now. Maybe than you are even willing to believe, but you absolutely are. It comes down to if you really want to. It comes down to if you're willing to get started. It just comes down to, if you're willing to give this all a shot. Self improvement, trying to live your best life, trying to become your best self. The embracing of it, the just, you kind of have to let go. And you have to get started where you're at right now with who you are, exactly as you are in this moment. And I think a lot of guys, they'll look around at their current circumstances, and it does not look like a great launching pad whatsoever. This is probably the toughest situation. This is not at all, how I would want things to be when I'm about to make, arguably, the greatest and the biggest decision of my entire life. From here on out, you know, a process to engage with every single day where I really try and be my best. The dangers of this, though, self improvement. Yeah. Becoming a better man. Better how, though? So that how might be the difference between your best life and your worst nightmare. And that's why I wanted to set things off tonight with that quote. Because perhaps in so many of all of us guys that are going through the modern male human experience, on the surface, it's very easy to believe, I don't want to do any of this because I can't. I don't believe I am capable of it. It's too much. It's too difficult. It's too hard. Too much time has passed. Oh, bro, that list goes on and on and on of why you won't. But if you did and you never stopped, where would that lead? That, to me, is some pretty scary stuff. Powerful beyond measure. Unpredictable. You there is no metric. You're not going to be able to calculate this properly. Nowhere close, because it is something that absolutely has to be lived. You're going to have to get there, bro. You're going to have to become that man, and then you're going to witness. You will find out what it will be like to be this greater version of yourself, and living as that man. The actions that he will be taking are going to show you why it is so important to know what it is that you are doing all of this for. And that is what I mean by these dangers of self-improvement. You really start, packing on some muscle for yourself, bro, and you get that glow up. And you really do look a lot more handsome now, a lot more attractive. You are getting that kind of attention you want from women. You finally hit that promotion. You are able, after wrestling with those numbers in your bank account for so long, they're finally rising higher. Now, what does that mean? I mean, that's kind of in the modern world, that's kind of everything. You the world really does open up that much more according to, right, how your money is able to move. How then can you make sure that you do right by the Lord God, yourself, and then all those that you will run into trying to self improve to your greatest version, trying to continue pushing that ceiling up a little bit higher, trying to find out if there is a deeper depth to, you know, an even more hidden layer of potential that couldn't be touched until you unlocked all the other ones before it, going through your process, your life's work, your journey of being the best man that you can be. Because make no mistake, absolutely, you are just as likely to become something that the world has always needed. Okay. Genuine, undisputable greatness. Or you could turn into a monster, bro. You could turn into something very hideously evil, bringing chaos and destruction everywhere you go. Beyond measure. And these capabilities that you have as a man, they are so real. In one of my favorite portrayals of exactly what this would look like, just heading into the Marvel universe for my deep dive tonight, this fellow right here, Peter Parker. Yes, the amazing Spider-Man. Specifically, on just one film for this episode, and that's going to be Tobey Maguire's portrayal of Spider-Man way back in the day, 2002. I know there's this great debate now that there's been so many but between these big three, right, of the modern era Spider-Man on the silver screen, because you got Toby in his three, and then you got Andrew Garfield in his three. He had three, right? Was it two? Was it two or three? And then now, who is it? Who is it right now? Tom Holland. Tom Holland though is doing a lot. Okay, he's definitely. I think he's got the most out of all of them, and his new one is soon to arrive. But this guy, the OG, right? Especially for millennials, the original. Okay, the first one, and I love the way Toby does it, because Peter Parker, in the way that Stanley created him as a man and the character that he is so relatable. There's just the way that his upbringing, his life, how he lives, how he behaves, it is extremely modest. It is very timid. He is really just keeps to himself. He's really reserved, very bullied, not at all popular, relatable in the way that a lot of guys, you go through a very standard American upbringing. That's, K through 12. And maybe you got your own clique. How many guys out here never had one? I mean, for Peter, it was really just Harry. Okay. Harry Osborn being kind of the complete opposite of him. If we were talking about, in the with the social archetypes, Harry's really the Chad, the cool kid, right? Mr. Popular. Everybody knows him. Everyone likes him. And I can imagine how much of a shadow that could have casted on Peter. Though, what's interesting is to note the quality of Peter's soul. The boy doesn't seem to mind. I'm not too familiar with, the comic book story of Spider-Man. I'm really just focused on this particular film and the events that was that transpired according to the vision the director had. So no, we don't ever see him, become super jealous. Okay, fair enough. Except when you bring Mary Jane into the situation. But okay, setting her aside, no, Peter is not really just walking around super resentful, is what I mean. He's not always just like, oh wow, why is everybody like that, and I'm not like that, and how is everybody having all these wonderful they have all these wonderful things in life, and I don't. Yeah, actually, no. Immediately you can see the heart of gold inside Peter Parker because his circumstances, they are so humble. They are so modest. He just has Uncle Ben, and Aunt May, and they all live together, them three, and he's extremely wholesome. I mean, he doesn't make it in time, and he's late. If you remember the consequences of him breaking that promise, he told his Uncle Ben, uh, uh, Uncle Ben said, "Hey, look, we're painting the kitchen today. So after school, all right, that's what you're going to be doing. Just remember, head straight here. Okay, once you're out, and we'll get it going." And Peter's happy to help. There's no resistance. I was expecting that, especially during those teenage rebellious years. Typically, a lot of the times you'll get that answer of, "No, I'm not. I don't have time to paint the kitchen with you, Uncle Ben. I'm gonna be, doing this with my friends, or I'm gonna be going there, like really just, right, being young and restless." But Peter's not like that. They're extremely close. Oh wow, what was that super super wholesome line as well? Ah, that's right. Don't start without me. He doesn't end up making it, and they don't punish him. I mean, they're definitely not happy. They're off screen. They'll probably even have some words with Peter, but he gets home super super late that day, and he gets a note. Okay, where in a very playful, loving manner, Uncle Ben and Aunt May calling him, "Hey, Michelangelo, because you weren't here to help us paint this. Dinner is right over there." Such beautiful, moral, and pure grounding for him. Peter Parker is raised extremely well. So well that everywhere he goes and however he shows up, okay, in school or during the field trip or whatever, life is pummeling him. Well, I believe existence does that to all of us as human beings. And I mean, maybe, perhaps this is the initial feelings you would get watching this happen to him, and you feel that relatability right off the bat because immediately you understand, oh wow, I know what that feels like. I know how that can hurt. Okay, everybody's got it out for this kid. He's a nice guy. Okay, he's well because he's very pure in this way. He's not trying to do harm to anybody, despite the circumstances continuing. Okay, to make him suffer in his own personal life situation with Flash. Flash is always picking on him, bullying him. He literally cannot take a single picture without getting shoved. All right, by one of these like cool bro guys, okay, by one of these like the high school jocks. It's just even the school bus driver, okay, will not stop for him, okay, laughing. Like that's kind of crazy. I was like, this is really pushing it. This is like when I first saw this scene, I was like, this is kind of unusually cruel. I don't know if it would really be like this in real life, but I wouldn't be surprised though. Okay, um, it's a neighborhood in which everyone knows each other. They're all growing up together. It's this is the K through 12 years. This is his bus route. Probably also for years and years and years. All right, and so of course, the bus driver knows Peter and just, yup, oh, he's late. I'm not stopping. And hey, everyone, look, let's make him chase the bus. It's not, it's nothing extreme, okay? As we see the beginning of, just Spider-Man's origin story, okay? What I want to note though is it's just really, it's nearly effortless for you and me to feel like that in our own lives. It's all too common, for a boy to grow up. He goes through K through 12, okay, maybe a clique of his own, or maybe not. Maybe he does keep to himself, and that would be a lot. That would be even more like Peter. Is not particularly genetically gifted. Okay, Peter looks normal. He doesn't look malnourished or famished, but right, he is not sizable in any way, and he's got the glasses. He's literally blind without his glasses. You know, if you want to use labels, okay, and I mean these labels are super stereotypical, and I mean, honestly, they suck because they do not encapsulate a human being whatsoever. Okay, well, I mean, I guess that's why they are childish insults. But to use those for Peter, yeah, I mean, a classic nerd, right? Classic geek. This kid. So when you meet Peter, I believe you do have to be especially kind. Maybe this is just me. You know, your average person meeting Peter, Peter is so submissive. He's so non-confrontational, and he's so wholesome. Okay, again, it just makes you think. Well, I mean, maybe as an older person, as an adult, who's a lot more grown than this teenager Peter Parker. You think to yourself, oh, what a nice kid. But a lot of people, as you know, brother, are walking around, okay, right now in our society in present day America, and they suck. These people, I don't know. You just an advantage taker, not a good person for whatever reason. And I'm not judging, but I'm noting what would happen in that interaction with this very seemingly very innocent and wholesome soul that Peter has, and I want you to hold on to that because it is very pure. It is very clean. That's my personal interpretation so far of the intro of this film. He doesn't lash back at anybody. You don't see him. You don't. I mean, this honestly, he'd be justified too. I mean, as an adult, that understands the massive priority it is for younger people to learn to carry themselves in an upright and upstanding manner. Yes, of course. But like this is like every day. Okay. If what we saw is what happens on a daily basis, you think about the years, how they stack up. You think about, wait a minute. So this is his entire childhood. This is his upbringing. Without Harry, he really doesn't have anyone. It really is literally just him and Uncle Ben and Aunt May. But I mean, hey, his uncle and his aunt are not going to be able to follow him everywhere in this world. That's just not how it works, right? Just existing as a human being, especially in the modern world. Whoever your parents are, whoever your legal guardians are, they are not always going to be there every second to make sure everything goes hunky dory smooth for you. And yet, whenever Peter is alone, he's getting hurt. He's getting hurt in some way, shape, or form. And that's, to me, this is the first marking of an incredible man. Because he's justified, too. Because he could be, and he doesn't let himself to be just so angry. to be so upset with everyone. Um, you see it in the news way too much nowadays. It really does seem to be getting worse. Though, when you bring God into the picture, you gotta try to keep it all in that optimistic and positive mindset. If not, it can really, really drag you down. Okay, to the point where, all right, your own life is going to become difficult to live. Seriously, you keep on thinking like that. So it's like, okay, I have to trust in Father. This is all in the Lord's hands, but it's so tough to see. More and more young men who feel so jaded, who feel so disenfranchised, who feel like they don't get to participate in society, in life, right? Just having it, not not all of it handed to them, not a free handout, not a gift on some sort of silver or golden platter. How about just a chance? How about just a shot at the American dream? For a lot of these young men, it's like, I mean, let me try. And for whatever reason, very tragic circumstances, okay, are um inflicted in some of these situations, and it makes the news. The young man, he snaps. Somehow, some way, he ends up hurting himself, or just a lot of other people. In the worst case scenarios, it's both. And what we see for the man that Peter Parker is at this young of an age, it is not like that. However, he's doing that. However, that's happening. Mentally and emotionally within him. He, bro, he just brushes it off. He just lets it slide. And I mean, this may be because if he's been bullied for that long, oh, okay, all right, now we're dealing with some trauma. Now we're dealing with some boundary issues. It's kind of just like, oh well, I mean, I'm always pushed around, so it's okay. They'll stop soon. Something like that. It's still awful. It's still really evil. And I've always had this kind of assumption about, how should I say, the the relation the relational dynamics between human beings. And I've always thought that, like, this has always made sense to me, and you see if you agree, brother, but evil begets evil. Just, when you this this occurrence of something terrible, horrible, really negative, right? To cause pain and suffering of some kind to at least, one human soul, if not many. For whatever reason, because the people affected by how bad this thing, action, this event, this choice, this decision was, it kind of compels them. Do you feel me on this, brother? It kind of compels them to do the same. Because, and this is one of the best things I was ever taught by my coach. It hit me so, this hit me like a locomotive because of the truth in it. It's so simple, but my God, does it, is it so valuable, keeping in mind for life itself. Okay. And it's simply hurt people. Hurt people. My little spin on that is to go really is really it's a bit more philosophical. It's kind of a broader take. Evil begets evil, but that's what this is. This is why I'm saying, okay, I just want you to see that connection before we make this leap to the amazing Spider-Man, because shouldn't he be getting a lot more evil? He's being hurt all the time. Why isn't Peter hurting other people? Because it does make sense in this way. I mean, because it's just rare. I don't know if we agree on that. Like when you're really hurt for like whatever reason, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Come on, brother, this is life. All four at the same time, way too way too frequently. Like seriously, like I literally just went through that yesterday. You know what I mean? And when that's going on for just too long, longer than a soul can bear, then most likely, unfortunately, and very tragically, they are going to go on to do something bad themselves. You know, it's not it's not an excuse. No, it is not a justification. Bad is happening to me. There's my free pass. So that means I get to no, absolutely not. But that's where it comes from because you're just not having a great time, man. I mean, that's to keep it in a very general, broad sense, without going too deep on this, because I want to stay on Peter. But I'm living my life. We all are. We're all alive, okay, and we're kind of colliding with one another. Okay, from these micro moments to whole lifespans. Okay, shout out to all married couples. All right, and then all potential time frames in between, and we are all coexisting. Okay, we're all okay. All of us, all billions of us, packed together right here on this little rock. And when you suffer for too long, for far too long, I just it does something to you. It does something to you. A human being, experiencing this much pain so frequently, you kind of begin to see the world, your own reality is refiltered through this lens of constant suffering. You know, becomes your everything, becomes very normal for you, right? And then slowly over time, the way you treat people, the way you interact with others, right? Okay, how you show up, how you behave. Okay, it is also making others suffer, but it's very difficult for anyone to care when they themselves are in that much pain. Something about Peter Parker is very special in this way. Something is going on here because he is not. Maybe the credit can be given to Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Definitely. Ooh, a big portion of it. But then perhaps there is just something innately pure about this boy. Then it happens. The bite. His life is changed forever. The city is changed forever. Okay. Okay. You really like, you know what I'm saying? You want to use that. What is this? What am I trying to summon right here? The butterfly effect. Okay. All of these cascading timelines, this ripple effect of, right, of all this good kind of turning into, transforming into other actions and choices and decisions and affecting other lives and timelines of other people. This incredibly beautiful trajectory of good, just expanding into more good. So, all right, that can keep going. I'm gonna leave that alone now. All of it, though, emanating from a single man because of how good he becomes, because of the good that he fights for. As a Christian man, I must believe for all the ideals and all of the virtues that God stands for is essentially you know, no, there's no mentioning of Christianity or Jesus Christ or anything like that. But you have to say, brother, what he goes on to do, even in this film alone, oh, setting aside his collective lore in the Marvel universe, I know it's a lot. There, good lord, I don't know. Arguably, who is the true right single poster boy of Stanley's Marvel universe? Is it Peter? I believe he's a strong contender. That's for sure. Oh my god, all the variations and all the just how far his storyline goes for the comics and all that. I'm actually before I go any further, I'm not even too familiar. All right, I really know him from watching these movies. Okay, growing up as a kid. I probably should. I probably should check out some of these comics. But everything has changed in that moment. So Christians would call this an anointing. Okay, God touching a human soul and essentially uh, plucking them up and towards a particular objective, some kind of greater service. I, I do believe. I know. This is said so much. It's been said so long that yeah, you could absolutely say it's become corny and cliche, but that is still human perception, and it does nothing to the truth of the matter. I believe, and that is that. Yes, of course. God, right, is operating on such an infinitely greater plane than the human mind that to us it is very magical. Okay, to me, it is actually bonkers. Father works in very mysterious ways. So anyone's best guess as to why it had to be Peter to be given this kind of power to go on and become the man that he does. Now, remember the way that we started tonight, brother. When you are trying to be great in your own way, bro, when you are trying to have your best life, and things actually do start looking up for you, you actually really do start doing better. This is why I say you have to be so careful right here. We get to see both for Peter. That's why it's so painful. I don't blame him one bit. That's my personal interpretation of this film. I of course I see myself in him, and Lord, um, and it took me years to really develop that self awareness to confront and acknowledge my fatal flaws, because this is the kind of stuff, if left unchecked, will absolutely get me killed. That's why I say fatal flaws, and to know them, to be mindful of them, so that you can work on them and fix them. Maybe, possibly. Oh, I know. I don't know. I don't know if I can pull this off. Yeah, but definitely the attempt matters above all. But to effectively reverse them, that is quite the challenge. And so I saw myself so vividly, clearly in Peter when he first realizes what he is becoming. My goodness. Okay. Climbing the buildings. This incredibly strong, robust textile material, okay, shooting out of him. Okay. uh no no pun intended, being a raging hormoning teenage boy, but with all sorts of utility purpose in the strength that he gets, the senses that he develops so acutely, right? Just all parts of him magnified, yes, like a spider, but translated through the human condition. Goodness gracious, you know, uh, just taking regular human man, right? A base man, and amplifying his strength in this way, his acrobatic capabilities in this way, right? His just the raw intelligence, okay, where just combat, okay, combat techniques, uh, just everything really for him to be a weapon however he sees fit. And so, what does he do? He, of course, this is inevitable, but he's led to this massive ego rush. See, this is what's so crazy. Picked on all his life, okay? Suffered in this way for as long as he's been alive. He understands, wow, I am a somebody now. Why does he think this though? How did he go from a nobody to a somebody? Because of the power that he believes he is able to impose on other people now. Simply because he can. Which actually allows me to tie in one of the hardest philosophical bars I continue to wrestle with to this day, and I heard it years and years ago. And it's a classic one, and you probably know it, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. We see that happen in real time with this young man. Peter, okay, the money that he realizes he's able to make, I can take these fights, I'll never get hurt. Okay, none of these guys can actually beat me. Let me just like try not to kill them, essentially, and I'll also try to put on a good show and whatnot. I mean, come on, what was that? Like his first night, the 3K fight, his first night. This fellow is apparently the strongest, of all the combatants, all right, that visit this underground fight club arena. And Peter kind of just shows up, right, in his own home stitched, okay, the classic Spider-Man costume before he really gets the iconic look and just absolutely runs circles around the guy. He completely humiliates his longtime bully, Flash Thompson, in that cafeteria scene, which is it's so iconic. All these years later, is because it's so clean and it's so smooth, and it's his longtime crush finally noticing him in this way. The catch, right, with the tray, everything that she had on it, just everything's super perfect. And it was an accident too. He was like, oh my god, I didn't mean to shoot the web. Oh, why is it so sticky? Like, what, how am I gonna like retract this? And then he does. It's too fast, and his, those spidey reflexes, absolutely insane. And so of course he's going to get out the way, right? Because everything, it's going so slow for him because his senses are so perceptive, incredibly perceptive now, that it hits Flash. And Flash is like, oh, you got beef? Well, now, once again, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. Peter could have easily killed him. All right? We all know this, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. Even if you are not, even if you've never heard of this story, it's your very first time viewing this film, you already kind of get that sense. This is not a fight. There is no contest here. Peter is beyond him now. That this is already where it starts to get a little bit dangerous. Is his realization that this adrenaline rush, this power trip, okay, right? He's actually pretty much, he's high on how great he has become so quickly, too quickly. he hurts Flash. He hurts him bad, real bad. You know, I believe Peter pulled that punch too. Holy, come on now! If he didn't, his fist would have gone right through him. Okay, what is this? Hot knife through butter. So I believe he had to pull that punch back, and it still hit Flash that hard. Mary Jane, I love um, what her presence did to this scene. All Mary Jane can see is the situation itself. Other than that, she has zero context. What you and I have is Peter's pain, Peter's suffering, and all that pent up resentment. Okay. All of that, you could say, repressed rage against Flash for treating him like this since they've been kids. Right. And on top of that, we know of his transformation. We know who he has become overnight. All of that, okay, is kind of translated into the punch. Okay. And right, sends him absolutely flying. So I can't say it's right. I'm just willing to say it's understandable. Because, what would God Himself say about this situation? I have to believe that for Father to judge that, most likely it's gonna, it's gonna be, the outcome is gonna be wrong. The outcome is gonna be no, you should not do that. That isn't right. I'm coming from a perspective of this is very understandable because of what Flash has done to him so many times for so long. You know, Peter absolutely did not hit him that hard because he felt like it. Because Peter's a butthole. It's not like that. It's revenge. Revenge because vengeance is accessible to him now. Because he can easily, whenever he wants. The power has completely flipped to Peter. He has all of it now, and he knows this. So running with that philosophical take, I believe, what is this on the morality of the situation? Absolute. Well, it's going to corrupt absolutely, and we're seeing this happening. So for Peter, I mean, yeah, this is amazing. But Mary Jane saw destruction. Mary Jane saw, oh my God, like it's one thing, for Flash to prank you and bully you and shove you wedgies and whatnot. It's another thing to knock a man unconscious. Was he? I can't remember right now exactly how Flash. I know I know he went flying, but then he crashed. What did he crash into lockers or something like that? I don't know. Did he get knocked out? But if he did, okay, then Mary Jane is seeing essentially uh, evil sprouting from who she always knew as modest, timid, no troubles, Peter Parker. This transformation is crazy. Because any man that's really starting to achieve success for himself, you got to be so careful right there, because that is also power. That's exactly what you're giving yourself when you self-improve. And I want you to see that, brother. Oh, this is, none of this is for nothing. When you go to the gym, when you learn that craft, okay, you really pursue this skill, you really do start developing competence and capability. Okay. And you get better and you get better. This is where I think it's inevitable for a man to clash with the corruptive nature of what of where his capabilities could lead him to. It's it's it runs wild and it's completely unchecked until Peter runs into that fateful night of allowing the thief to run free. This is so tough. You know, it's actually, I want to, do my best to give this scene, its proper merit, because on the surface what we're seeing happening is this is just raw tragedy. Okay, it's Uncle Ben, wrong time, wrong place. It's almost like, like, of all things that could have happened, how did this happen? But it's almost, it's very merciless. It's almost very like nonsensical, right? In this way, and it doesn't feel possible. Yeah, like, what, like, so many things have to line up so perfectly for it to happen like that. And it, I guess for me, maybe this scene hits so hard because that's exactly how life is for so many of us. Okay, it just hits you out of nowhere, something you don't expect. How in the world could this have happened? This is why reality itself is just so tough sometimes. It's even worse for Peter, though, because it is a direct effect of his cause, the cause of him allowing the power to consume him. Would Peter, before he's gifted with the amazing Spider-Man, would he have allowed him to escape just like he did? I don't think so. And I know that most people say, here's the thing, he was completely justified. He had literally just got ripped off. He just had evil done to him. And so, as I was saying earlier, evil begets evil. So, he was in pain. Like again, this does kind of tie in once more. Her people, the guy who should have paid him his, all $3,000, every penny, right? Basically took like what, 95, 90 freaking, 99% of the cut, and gave him that little scrap right there. So anyone would be fuming. Anybody would be super pissed at the situation. Okay. Where does the line draw, though? Normal man or superhero. But where is it supposed to be cut? Like, who, you know what I mean? Like, where does it stop? He should have done the right thing. He should have gave him all 3K, and he didn't. Okay, and then that thief should not be, out there breaking the law. He should not be, doing crime. So I should have stopped there. Peter had the opportunity to be a man right there and set aside these two situations, set aside his own feelings, and not let the bitterness get the better of him, right? Because what was happening right there was hatred. What was happening right there was vengeance. You did me wrong. Now I'm going to retaliate. Now I'm going to do you wrong. Okay, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back by letting this fellow go. Why? Because he's got your stuff. But, oh, wait, that's right. That's technically my money, okay? That he's running away with. So yes, I'm gonna let him go. And then who knows? If he had not run into Uncle Ben and he had just run into whoever else, don't you see, brother, Uncle Ben or not, don't more and more people just continue to get hurt? When a man is not able to separate himself from doing the right thing, when he is not able to hold his ground on the very nature of integrity, okay, to be a good man, to be that good person, even when life is not good to you, I guess the ultimate question here, okay, like for all men who are self-improving, for all of our fellow kings that are leveling up in life right now, if not them, okay, if not the man, if not you, then who is responsible? Who stops it? You see how dangerous that becomes when you allow the evil to happen because evil happened to you. And so evil ultimately is the victor as it continues to attack people. It stops, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it cease the moment some man, any man, says he makes the right call? He makes the decision, okay, that I have to believe Father would have him make. This is not okay. That's it. This isn't okay. This has to stop here. Because why? Because this is bigger than me. Because that greater collective of just this combative collision between what is good and what is evil is far more important than my own petty squabbles, than the desires of my own heart. Okay, because truly, right, in a justified sense, that was owed to me. And I was wronged out of it. Like he scammed me, he took advantage of me, he did something bad to me. So now when something bad is happening in front of me, I'm going to let it. Okay, that reason can't be. I think this is, to me, like just personal interpretation, this is like essentially what the the true birth of Spider-Man, that's where this is coming from. This is why it hits so hard for Peter, spiritually and philosophically and emotionally. It's not just losing essentially his dad, the closest thing he ever had to a father figure. It's not just that. It's that I should have been there to stop it. In that moment, I was too weak, and so I failed as a person, just as a person. Because this right, this is beyond the man. This is really like good and evil. This is virtue and sin, and like that scale. I could have tipped it. I could have tipped it for home team, like in our favor for the Lord, and he let it go. He let others get hurt because he's hurt. And of all people, it had to have been Uncle Ben. Of all people, it had to have been Uncle Ben. I have no idea. If there are much deeper details to all of this that are in the comics, and that Stan Lee made sure to write. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Once again, uh, I'm only keeping it within the parameters of the events of this film, and I have to use God here, okay, because there would never be Spider-Man, and even if there would be, because it's like, well, I mean, he got bit. He definitely wouldn't have been amazing. You imagine? Uh, I'm very confident in assuming this is somewhere in the Marvel universe. I just wouldn't know what it's called, but I'm sure Stanley came up with a version of a evil Spider-Man. Come on, bro. Maybe you already know, but if you're like me and you're not familiar, you speculate that real quick. Oh my god, him going full evil, okay, using everything, using all of his essentially, like demigod, all right, godlike, these extraordinary capabilities of strength and speed and senses and whatnot, and with the web and the web slinging and the shooting and the backflips and the freaking, beating up 50 guys with one hand tied behind his back. And if you were to use that for evil, so Father would have to pivot him and make sure he embarks on an irreversible journey to the best he could ever become, with a magnification like that of that spider bite, with those kinds of genes, the direction he would be propelled to go, because it is his fault. I know. It's so, this is really tough. I mean, I want to be extra real right here. I don't even know if, like if I was in the film, you know what I mean? And it was like us three, like Peter knows Harry, knows Jason. I don't know if I'd be able to look him in his eyes and tell him that, just straight up. I don't know if I'd be able to be like, yo, Pete, that was on you. It's just being outside this situation. I have to say, speaking on principle and speaking on what is truly good, or at least I'm attempting to, then it is. It is. And the reason why it's Peter's fault that Uncle Ben died is because he has to live with that opportunity was in his hands to do something good. It was in his hands to do something good. And it just seemed that he let go of it temporarily. It slipped. He lost it in the most crucial moment, because of really because of this new Spider-Man persona, just flooded with all of this. A kid with too much power. And so he remembers Uncle Ben's words, his dying words. Really, basically one of the last things that he would ever hear his dear uncle say. When a man is given great power, at the very same time, he is given equally great responsibility. And so power itself does not equate to greatness, character, a wonderful man, legendary hero, etc., etc. It's an amplifier. If anything, all it does, just the force of power itself, right? And in our world, however that manifests, as muscles, as money, as status, as position on whatever kind of corporate ladder, whatever kind of social hierarchy. Once you really do become that guy, everyone, all eyes on you, you're him, bro. What happens right there is it is revealed who the man truly is underneath. If anything, the power helps him become who he always was. And why do I say this? Because until he had it, he could never do it. He could never take it that far. A guy would never dare say something like that. He would never do something like this to somebody else. however terrible, however heinous, however evil. No, it's only when you're elevated to that position. I have these circumstances, I have this situation in life at my mercy because now what I say goes. So, what it's very telling of the character of the man. Now that you're able to, we get to see what you really would. Peter's first taste of that, in my humble opinion, is the most painful. It is the culmination of the most suffering he will ever have to endure. The death of someone he loves the most. This man is the most precious to me. Uncle Ben was everything to Peter. And it was because it slipped from him, that responsibility, great power, but couldn't hold on to the great responsibility. That's what happens. And so it sticks with him from there on out. He understands it all. It's so unfortunate in this way. I mean, we're all mere mortals, okay? Yes, children, but at the same time, dust, specks in the eyes of God. You know, could it have happened any other way? That's anyone's best guess or interpretation. But for Peter, this would hit him so deeply. This would stick to his soul for the rest of his natural born life, forever changed, now permanently altered to be the Amazing Spider-Man. He's always going to think, this is not just a gift. This is also a burden. And it's a burden because I am now so great. It's a burden because you did it, bro. You got jacked. You hit six figures. You met this wonderful woman. Okay. Oh, you started a family. Your kids are here. You know the babies that have been born. Okay, running around now. All right, in your living room. You know, like all of these incredibly wonderful foundational aspects of a man's best life. It's not just accomplishment. It is not just achievement. It is not just look, I did it. Look what I was able to pull off. It is now what I am to be held accountable for. I have to have ownership over all of this. Peter's ownership is the whole city. He fights for all of them. I don't know. Does the Marvel universe give it a different name? It does, right? I don't think it uses real names, but essentially, that city is NYC. Essentially, all those people, you know, because this is where he lives, right? Like this is home, and you know, this is where he does everything, and so he thinks to himself, this is so heavy, man, because I believe that what that did to Peter Parker's psychology is he thought to himself, I couldn't get my uncle. I should have. I could have. That probably hurts the most. But I failed. And so, in honor of him, I will get all of you. I will get all of you. Every single one. To the best of his ability. Okay? he's not Clark Kent. He's not up there. You can't actually hear, you know, like everything happening at every second. And Clark's not even doing that, right? For a city. Clark's doing that for the planet. But good Lord. The amount of people that Spider-Man would go on to save. That he would go on to do. He would go on to do. stalwart, and unfathomably good works for the kingdom, for the side of good, and for what is right. That's the man that Peter becomes because he comes from this tragedy. I'm so strong. You feel me on that, bro? I'm so freaking strong, man. I'm so strong. I'm stronger than all of you. And that goes one of two ways. History has shown, our world has shown, time and time again, you know, the ones who are revered the most loved, and the most remembered fondly, okay? And then the ones who did the most evil, the ones we are warned about the most. This is the split. This is the night and day, the two opposing ends of the spectrum when man meets power. I hate that it had to have happened this way. But if not for the tragedy of Uncle Ben, can it be speculated Peter would have gone the opposite way? Within time, eventually, he would have been the worst. And he would have been the worst because he has the capabilities to do so. Because if he wanted to, who could stop him? Mysterious ways indeed. Father Father is not just brilliant, he is the most brilliant. So I love imagining dad thinking, I just have to do it like this. I just have to do it like this. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt him. But you see it? Do you see this these tidal waves? You want to talk about the ripple effect? You see, right? You want to see how many people get saved. You know, how much good he does, how many lives he protects. Okay, how safe the city becomes because he takes on that burden, and he never forgets ever again. He never once was too costly. That one was still too expensive. It just pushed him. It just pushed him to this cementing. Okay, right there, Peter Parker, he self-actualizes. You know, it's the soul of Spider-Man crystallized in the way that it needed to, because any other way probably would just not have ended well for normal human beings. It's because it's too, you know, tall buildings, one leap, okay, you know what I mean, like one punch, okay, and like the friggin' right through a titanium steel door or whatever, you know, however great his powers really are. This is how it had to have happened for it to go down a timeline of him doing the most good possible. In our world, for you and me, brother, this is truly a great man when he has been given the capabilities of whatever he wants to do, however he would like to, pivot that greatness, whether right for his desires, his pleasures, his vices, okay, whatever it feels like he deserves, okay, so that he's eating good, so that he's always, always able to do whatever he wants, or does he take that and does he serve everything that is outside of himself? That right there, that separation is everything. That separation is everything. That's why, one more time, and I'll close on this. One more time, brother. This might be you. I believe this is most guys. So many of us alone, broke, depressed, exhausted, right? Young and already too tired of the modern game and the rules that they want us to play by. My my heart goes out to any man who relates to that. But what is the fear? What are you really scared of right there? I don't buy it. I don't think you're scared that you are inadequate. The fear is that you are powerful beyond measure. And on this path of self improvement, when you really take it that seriously, you'll win. It's a that I promise, especially if you're a guy that won't stop. That I promise exactly what happens to you, exactly what you're going to see as you continue to go this way. So you have to just be so careful. That's why, you know, I used to say, and this is when my own personal walk with Father was a lot more immature. I used to say, self improve, bro. There's because I mean, I'll always this hill I see myself always dying on. It is the best way to live, like truly. Like if you're talking about like just an optimal way of life, the project of you is incredible. But if it's not guided by virtue, morality, what is good, okay, integrity, doing what is right, the amount of evil that can come from that, okay, because both forces are in you, and you have free will, so you have that choice to dictate it to which way you are going to go down this fork. um I don't believe any guy, I mean this is just me, maybe uh besides amongst the truly elite of us, but most of us, myself included, you you need self-improvement, self-discovery, and self-actualization. this this trinity this trinity is really unlocks your best life. The most incredible and enjoyable experience is meant solely for you. But please, brother, let it be guided by God. Let it be guided by Jesus Christ. My interpretation of 2002 Spider-Man starring Tobey Maguire is that whether you want to use the Christian God or not, when you do, then it can be seen that Peter was preordained. He had to go this way because it's too much power for him not to learn. For him, he's able to do way too much beyond measure. It's too much capability for a single man for him not to get it. He needed to get it. So I mean, I guess it sucks. Come on, man. It sucks like crazy. Uncle Ben couldn't be there to see him live like this. But of course, I believe Uncle Ben is watching from heaven, and he's gonna get to see his boy do amazing things, absolutely amazing things, because it's a lesson he can't forget. Peter says, Peter basically solemnly vows, never again, never again. Like, I'm sorry, and I got you, Uncle Ben. I just should have been there that night. I should have stepped in front of him. I should have closed the elevator on him, or like I just should have been there. And he can't take that back. So this boy grows into a man, and he just promises. He promises the ideal that is a father, that is outside of a man. It's outside of you. Be awesome, bro, because you are awesome. Just be so careful to do good with it. to do good with it. This is the origin story of Spider-Man. For me, it is it's an essential watch. It's so perfect. It's so perfect in this way to understand, um, the very painful and grim responsibility that always comes with power. Okay, never be fooled. These two go hand in hand. Okay, you are never accepting one without the other following suit. And so, with that, I do compel you to keep going in your process, bro. Keep trying to get better. Keep trying to get stronger. Keep trying to be the best you. And then when you are at your best, do it for good. Do it for good, bro. And I believe this will give you an exceedingly satisfying experience for your own life. And it will be multiplied by, I'm not sure you could put a number on that. It would be multiplied by however many times is equal to the amount of happiness and joy and positivity you're going to be able to bring to others because you're at your best. And you're not at your best for you. You're at your best for them. And if you're looking for some help, or another fellow also attempting the same, you'll find me right here at the Pillars of Man podcast. That's what I do. I talk about God, movies, and anime to help you with your life. And if you like content like that, you hit the subscribe button for me. You're listening on Spotify, you follow me on there. Wherever you find this, shoot me a follow, bro. I'd love to catch you for the next one. But until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. And I love you so much.